Hello everyone. In second part of electron transport chain and oxidative phosphorylation, we have already seen electrochemical proton gradient, chemiosmotic theory, then we studied about the structure and function of ATP synthase and how ATP synthesis takes place. In this part, we will learn about the inhibitors of electron transport chain, uncoupling agents, and then we will calculate the total ATP that is synthesized from oxidation of one molecule of glucose. Now, let us see the inhibitors of electron transport chain. These inhibitors of electron transport chain are site-specific inhibitors. That is, they bind with certain component of electron transport chain and thus prevents the passage of electron and also blocks the oxidation reduction reaction, because passage of electron is the reversible oxidation and reduction of electron carriers. In this, first is rotenone. It is plant based product. This inhibits the passage of electron from NADH coenzyme Q reductase complex. This is complex 1. So, electrons cannot pass from complex 1 to ubiquinone. It is used as fish poison and also as insecticide. Second is amobarbital. This also inhibits or prevents the passage of electron from NADH coenzyme Q reductase complex, that is at the level of complex 1. Pyridine A. It is an antibiotic. It prevents the passage of electron from NADH coenzyme Q reductase complex to ubiquinone. This competes with ubiquinone. Now, the electron are passed from complex 1 to pyridine A instead of ubiquinone. Antimycin A. Antimycin A, it is an antibiotic. It blocks or prevents the passage of electron from cytochrome B to cytochrome C1. These are the carriers present in complex 3. So, antimycin A prevents the passage of electron at the level of complex 3, that is also known as coenzyme Q H2 cytochrome C reductase. Cyanide, azide and carbon monoxide. These binds with the component of complex 4 and prevents the terminal transfer of electron from complex 4 to oxygen. Complex 4 is also known as cytochrome C oxidase. Among them, cyanide and azide binds with the reduced form of cytochrome, and this carbon monoxide binds with the oxidized form of cytochrome. In plants, certain alternative mechanisms are also present. In some cases, from NADH, electrons through the complex 1 is transported to ubiquinone, and from ubiquinone it is directly transported to oxygen, thus bypassing complex 3 and complex 4. And the energy that is present in NADH, it is released as heat, because pumping of proton also does not take place. Since in this pathway it bypasses the transport of electron from complex 4 to oxygen, hence this pathway is cyanide resistant. Now uncoupling agents. Uncoupling agents uncouples oxidation from phosphorylation. We have already seen that reduced coenzymes transfers the electron to the electron transport chain, and then the electrons are transported. In this process, energy is also released, and the complexes of electron transport chain pumps proton across the inner mitochondrial membrane. So an electrochemical proton gradient is generated. So now the proton moves downhill through ATP synthase from intermembrane space to matrix. In this process, energy is dissipated and it is used in the synthesis of ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate. This is known as the phosphorylation. In the presence of the uncoupling agents, the transport of the electron through the electron transport chain takes place, but this synthesis of ATP, that is phosphorylation, does not take place. In this way, it uncouples oxidation from phosphorylation. Some of the examples of uncoupling agents are 2,4-dinitrophenol, dicomarol and carbonyl cyanide p-trifluoromethoxyphenylhydrazone, that is FCCP. So we can understand this uncoupling agents by the example of 2,4-dinitrophenol, or in short DNP. DNP is the weak acid. It is soluble in the lipid bilayer of inner mitochondrial membrane in their protonated neutral form or anionic form. Anionic form of the DNP picks the proton in the intermembrane space, and then it diffuses through the inner mitochondrial membrane and enters the matrix along with the proton, and then it releases the proton. In this way, this electrochemical proton gradient is dissipated, and hence now the proton does not flow downhill through the ATP synthase. So no energy is dissipated, and hence synthesis of ATP does not take place. Similar is the function of dicomarol and FCCP. Thermogenin is physiological uncoupler, and it is present in brown adipose tissue. It generates heat in the newborn and also during the hibernation of animals. Let us calculate the total ATP synthesized by the oxidation of one molecule of glucose. Complete oxidation of glucose molecule involves three processes: glycolysis, pyruvate oxidation and citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle. First is glycolysis. This takes place in cytoplasm, and we get 2 NADH molecules and 2 ATP molecules. Second is pyruvate oxidation. This takes place in mitochondrial matrix. This gives 2 NADH molecules. Third is citric acid cycle. Or Krebs cycle. This takes place in mitochondrial matrix, and we get 6 NADH molecule, 2 FADH2 molecules and 2 ATP molecules. So the net gain is 10 NADH molecules, 2 FADH2 molecules and 4 ATP molecules. Each NADH molecule gives 2.5 ATP molecules by oxidative phosphorylation. So from 10 NADH molecules we get 2.5 into 10, 25 ATP molecules. Each molecule of FADH2 in the oxidative phosphorylation gives 1.5 ATP molecules. So 2 FADH2 molecules will give 1.5 ATP into 2, 3 ATP molecules. So we get 25 plus 3 plus 4 is equals to 32 ATP molecules from the complete oxidation of one molecule of glucose. 2 NADH molecule that we get during glycolysis are present in the cytosol. These cannot enter the mitochondrial matrix. So they pass their reducing equivalent to the mitochondrial matrix, either to NADH or to FADH2 molecule. So if the reducing equivalent of NADH in the cytosol is passed to FADH2 in the mitochondrial matrix, we get 3 ATP molecules instead of 5 ATP molecules. Hence, there is loss of 2 ATP molecules. In that case, instead of 32 ATP, we get 30 ATP molecules from the oxidation of one molecule of glucose. This is all for today's video. In the next video, we will learn about anaerobic respiration and fermentation. So please keep watching and also like, share and subscribe. Thank you.